Now, let's say you have a conversation with somebody and they decide to bring up all the emotions that you have bottled up inside, especially all the anger that you have bottled up inside. They know that you don't really like talking about certain topics, that you don't really like talking about certain situations that have happened in your life, and they provoke you, they trigger you, and you have all the bottled up anger kind of unleash itself outside. You have so much rage that takes over your body, mind, and soul. And you're sitting there wondering why you're getting triggered. And you try all these manipulative strategies to go deal with the other person who's trying to provoke you. But what if I said that the other person is not the problem? Most of the times, the majority of the problem is because of you. Now, let that sink in for a moment and reframe or replay what I kind of said here. Whenever you get triggered, all the rage that you've been holding on inside, all the bottled up anger kind of comes out. That means you have stored anger that is present inside you. What the other person does, he just comes there and pops that bubble. And the other person is also wrong here to talk about sensitive information, but you can't really put the entire blame on the other person because you have bottled up anger. So, whenever somebody comes and talks about the most triggering things in your life, it is not that person using certain words on itself that is triggering you. Those words in a sentence have been used at that moment, and that words have triggered the emotions of anger, pain, guilt, and shame. Now, all these emotions are connected to a situation that has happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or some event that took place. Now, what they're doing is just tapping in to your insecurities, tapping into your mind, and essentially gaining power over that relationship. So, whenever you have a conversation with somebody, there is a set power dynamic. There's a power dynamics that comes into play. One person controls the conversation, and one person becomes very submissive. Now, these are narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, and energy vampires. They need control over the conversation, and anybody who's trying to control the conversation taps into the other person's insecurities, triggers them, and when you get emotionally, disturbed, you have emotional highs and emotional lows, and the person is completely stoic and neutral, the person gets and higher hand. The person essentially gets power over you, use your emotions against you, and gain whatever they desire out of that conversation. So essentially, you have to do the inner work. You have not let go of that situation. Something would have happened, all right? And usually the person is aware. Now, narcissists, psychopaths, energy vampires have very good social awareness. If they know how to play very good social games. They understand social dynamics. So that is why they have a general idea on what people don't like, what people like. So when you come across people like these, they try to trigger you, put you out of alignment, and you will essentially be vibing at that higher vibrational state going on about your day. And you have a conversation with these people, and your whole day is ruined. Your mood is ruined. Essentially, you start cribbing about it. You start having so much pain. You'll come back home, you'll be thinking about the conversation. Oh my God, this person did this to me. This person kind of unlocked all this painful events, and you don't really realize when that was happening, and you didn't really set boundaries. Now, before you go do all these strategies, the best thing that you can do is to identify why you got triggered when that person said certain things. It's usually because you have been attached to some event or some trauma that is being run in your subconscious mind. You have not let go of it, and that runs you on a regular basis. And when you have not done the inner work, you know, you kind of have anger on that situation. Something would have happened. You are angry on that situation. You are angry on the person who has caused you or put you in that situation, and you are angry on yourself for not, being smart, or you're angry on yourself for going through that situation. So when the other person, some energy vampire, comes in and taps into your inner demons, they're essentially bringing up the bottled up anger that you have stored inside. And that is why you get triggered. So instead of treating the trigger or treating the anger, you know, just treating it on the surface level, dive deep into the roots, dive deep to the root cause of why you are getting triggered. It's because of some undealt trauma that is keeping you down in this lower vibrational state. You have not let go of it. So that is why you just keep getting triggered when somebody starts playing these mind games with you. Now, if you are free from your trauma, you are not really getting triggered by any external situations. People will try talk about the most triggering stuff, and you don't really feel, anger. You don't feel pain because you have done the inner work. You have done the shadow work. You have actually dealt with your trauma. You have let go of it. And now you're essentially invincible. Like whatever they're saying doesn't really trigger you. You're completely in the present moment. And this puts you in a higher vibrational state, essentially making you so much more powerful in that conversation, because the one who gets, most emotionally disturbed in a conversation loses. The one who's the most stoic, who's the most non-reactive in a conversation always wins. So when you are non-reactive, when you have dealt with all the trauma, let go of it, and you achieve the state of calmness. When you are non-reactive, you essentially hold the power dynamic in a conversation. You become more dominant, and the energy vampire, narcissist, psychopath, sociopath doesn't really have any power over you. And this essentially, makes you invincible. They will try, they'll see that you're not reacting to any emotional triggers. They'll be saying all the mean things in the world, and you're not getting triggered. You're in your state, you're in your frame, and this puts them off balance while you are in balance, and you don't really have bad days. You don't really get emotionally disturbed. You come back home and you're always in this higher vibrational state, and essentially you have a good day. So the whole point is, let go of that trauma, let go of the core issue, and then you will not find yourself getting triggered over some small issue, getting triggered because somebody else said something or told something or kind of made a comment about anything. Because all these people will essentially become very minor, inconveniences in your life. They are just minor inconveniences in your life, but you just don't realize it yet. The words they say kind of provoke you, and they become a major inconvenience. But in reality, they're just a minor inconvenience. And when you start seeing them as just a minor inconvenience, just a pebble on the road, you'll just kick the pebble and be walking on your path. So hope that helps. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.